day, colleagues, and it's time to shine our lights with LinkedIn. So when I started my LinkedIn journey, I was told that this is a place just to update your CV and make your online CV look great. But Jill Rowley says that LinkedIn is no longer just an online CV, but it's your digital reputation. Welcome to the LinkedIn Masterclass, and thank you so much for joining. Are my slides moving? Okay, it looks like my slides are frozen, so just give me a second. There we go. So it's no longer a place just for you to update your online CV and look great, but it's your digital reputation. So we've got 2 hours today and one mission. That is to become LinkedIn masters. So as you can see on this side of the screen, we've got our agenda for today, but I just want you to note a few things. So you'll see some pop-ups coming onto the screen. And the first one is just a note for you to keep your logins and your password ready. So if you currently have a LinkedIn account, keep that ready. If you are logged in, great. If you haven't logged in a very long time, please keep your password handy. Secondly, something very exciting, make a mental note of this slide that you see on the screen. So you know that 2 hours is a very long time to be glued to your screen, but every time you see this slide, it's time for you to stretch. Yes, you heard right, stretch. So just a neck stretch will do, or just stretch your arms or stand up and shake it all off to get the blood flow running, because we'll be sitting for quite a long time and we're just going to unwind by stretching. But while you stretch, I'll be sharing a fun fact about LinkedIn or something just interesting for you to know. So I hope that you'll be stretching when you see the slide. And then lastly, there'll be an opportunity for questions and answers right at the end of the presentation. So please note all your questions in the Q&A box right at the bottom of your screen. And then at the end, there'll be an opportunity for you to come onto screen. So you simply raise your hand, come onto screen, let's see some faces and hear some voices, and you'll get to ask your questions. Ready, set, let's become LinkedIn masters. So what is LinkedIn? Predominantly, it was known as a professional networking site where people engage and update their career information. But today, we find a report by the South African social media landscape that says that more than 75% of businesses that were surveyed as part of this landscape report have reported that they are on LinkedIn and their clients are also on LinkedIn, which means that today people are not just using LinkedIn as a means to grow their own professional CVs, but there are many other useful ways to engage on LinkedIn. Now, I've categorized them into 4 categories. And you can use LinkedIn for career purposes to help you stand out. And this is the traditional CV route. Secondly, HR and recruiting professionals can use it to find top talent, because you get this place where everybody who's updating their CVs and is really doing great work online is all merged into one platform. So it's just easy for HR to identify top talent. But the reason why we're here today is to find out how can we use LinkedIn as a brand building tool. And secondly, how can we use LinkedIn to ramp up our leads generation efforts? Hello, brand advocate. So you might not know this, but Momentum Corporate is on a repositioning journey. And we want to go from being just the employee benefits provider that is leading in the market to the employee benefits provider that prioritizes the human experience for the success of businesses. And you are a key influencer in building brand perceptions. So just think about this for a second. What if our next client found us on your timeline? That's exactly what we're here to do today, to build our online brand and to amplify Momentum Corporate's presence online. So how do we start? The first step is for us to create and optimize our LinkedIn profiles. So this might be a bit mundane for people that already have profiles, but I want us to start there because somebody might be joining us today and they're probably hiding like, whoo, Shorty, I don't even have a LinkedIn account. So let's start there for those that don't have LinkedIn accounts. It's simple. All you do is go to the website, whatever search engine that you're using, and you type in www.linkedin.com. It brings up this screen that you use to fill in your information, and you just click on Join Now. Secondly, it will send you an email. So whatever email service provider you're using, Outlook, Gmail, check your emails. Sometimes it doesn't go into your focused email box, it goes to the other or sometimes spam. So check all those folders to make sure that you get that email that will prompt you to verify your email address, and then just click continue and agree. Keep your phone handy because they might also send you this pin on your phone. Next, you'll be asked to sync contacts from your email address. Now, this is all the people that you've interacted with over email. And if they have LinkedIn accounts, you'll be able to sync those contacts to your LinkedIn. It just helps you to keep in touch or to build a LinkedIn network for yourself using your email members or people that you've interacted with on email. Then, if you're not interested in this, you can simply click on skip. As simple as that, your account is ready and you're ready to create a LinkedIn profile. So before we go into the LinkedIn profile, I want to show you two different kinds of profiles with two different objectives for being on LinkedIn. So I'm pretty sure that up until now, everyone is comfortable with just having a LinkedIn profile because we've just helped those who don't have accounts to set up accounts. But a lot of us are sitting in this room, have accounts, but we don't know what these accounts should look like. What should these accounts look? What information should be on there? So on the screen, you're seeing two beautiful, powerful Momentum Corporate women, Yolandi Bester and Kawekazi Ndikane. And I'd like to do this demonstration based on their profiles, which are significantly different. And I'm about to point out those differences to you. If you are on LinkedIn, I would also recommend that you just go to LinkedIn quickly and search for these ladies. So it's Yolandi Bester and Kawekazi Ndikane. I'll also go to LinkedIn just to show you what these differences are. But let's start with the screen first. Primarily, you get two types of LinkedIn accounts, a standard account and something called LinkedIn Creator Mode account. What is the difference? First of all, with a standard LinkedIn profile, it's a career generic driven profile. This means that you have all the information that you would have on your CV, whereas a LinkedIn creator profile is a thought leadership profile. This means that beyond and above all the career related information, you're starting to feature more and more content on your profile. Now, this is content from interviews that you've possibly done, articles that you've written, any other networking that you've done in and around LinkedIn starts to feature on your profile. Then the second primary difference between the two profiles is a standard profile has the connect button and a LinkedIn Creator Mode has the follow button. Now, why would you want to have a follow button versus a connect button for people to get connected with you on LinkedIn? So a connect button is great. However, if you find yourself as a professional that is busy, you have what I call 48-hour days. Your 124 hours is literally feels so jam-packed that it feels like a 48-hour day. You don't have time to be engaging with LinkedIn and engaging with any of the notifications that LinkedIn sends you. One of those notifications that you get is connection requests. So every time somebody on the LinkedIn network, a LinkedIn member, requests to be your connection, then you will be prompted to accept that connection request. And if you don't have the time to check those notifications, you might miss out on valuable connections. And if you tend to be somebody that posts a lot on LinkedIn and you have an engaging profile, then people might not necessarily get the opportunity to engage with you because they're still waiting for you to accept their connection requests. So that's why LinkedIn then launched this creator mode to help professionals that don't have the time, but they do have the time to be engaging, but they can't constantly accept connection requests. So then they've created this automatic follow button. This just means whether or not you've accepted the person's connection request, they will automatically be part of your LinkedIn network. A second difference is that a standard profile highlights your connections, whereas LinkedIn Creator Mode highlights how many followers you have. I'll show this when we do the demonstration in a short while. Another difference is your standard profile prioritizes what you are about as a professional. So everything that you've achieved in your professional journey, whereas a LinkedIn Creator Mode profile prioritizes your reputation. So anytime an article has been written about you, that will be featured onto your profile. And then it's community versus content. I'll demonstrate that right now. But I want to get to this point here, that a standard profile is about being present on LinkedIn. Think about it this way. Remember in high school when the teacher was taking the register in class and they'd say, Claudie, and you just say, present, ma'am, present. This is a standard profile. I am present. If you're looking for me online, you'll find me. I'm present on LinkedIn. Whereas creator mode is more about the engagement. So you're not only just present, but you are present and engaging. So let's do a quick highlight of the two profiles and I'll show you those differences in a GIF. I'm just going to go to LinkedIn to point those out for you. So I'm going to start with Yolandi's profile. And as you can see, like I mentioned, it prioritizes her career journey, what she does, where she works, her about section, some activity that she's commented on LinkedIn, and the rest is just her experience. And so it goes. And it's a great profile, I must say. There are one or two things that she will work on and she promised that she would do. But now I want to take you to the LinkedIn Creator Mode profile, and that's Kawegazi's profile here. So a key difference that I want to point out to you is right at the top of her profile, you can see these top 5 hashtags. I'm just highlighting them here to make it easy for you to see. And this is one prominent feature on a LinkedIn Creator Mode profile. you can see right up front what this leader engages on, what kind of content you can expect to find on their profile. And if we look at Qhawe's profile, we can see that these are the topics that she's interested in. And if you're somebody that follows her, this is what you're most likely to see. This is the content that she posts about a lot. A second feature is this follow button. So where Yolandi has a connect button, so I'm currently connected to Yolandi, so I won't have that option to connect. But where Yolandi has the connect button, Qhawe has the follow button. And that just goes back to the busyness of our lives. We don't have time to accept connection requests. So we just want people to click follow and they're already automatically part of our network. Another thing that's quite interesting about a LinkedIn Creator Mode profile is this featured section here. So you'll notice that every time Qhawe was in the news or she was interviewed or she's got some PR activity going on, this comes up in her featured section. So we're going to go into this in a lot more detail as the presentation evolves. But I also want to say now that not all standard profiles have to be creator mode profiles. And I hope you get what I'm saying. You're not mandated to now move to a creator mode profile. It's just one or two nuances that LinkedIn has just made to enable people in their busy schedules. That's why they created LinkedIn for Creators. But there are some standard profiles which are rocking it. An example of a rocking standard profile is Dumo's profile. So Dumo, our CEO, is not on LinkedIn creator mode. And how you can see that he's not on creator mode is the fact that he doesn't have those top 5 hashtags here. He just has a standard profile with all his career updates. But boom, he is engaging, he is quite active on LinkedIn. So that's the point that I want to make today, that let's not rush to create LinkedIn creator mode profiles and neglect our standard profiles. That's the place to start, a standard LinkedIn profile. Get all your information in order, update it regularly, and this is how you do it. Let's get started. So you start with a profile photo and quite simply pick a photo that reflects your expertise and your personality. So now for the ladies, I've listed some do's and don'ts. These do's and don'ts apply to everybody, but specifically for the ladies, don't be overexposed in your profile. So think about it as your professional snapshot. Try to have a picture that represents the kind of industry that you're in, if you're privileged enough to do that. I've seen some people, for example, who are in the photography space, who will take a picture of themselves holding a camera. So you can do something fun like that, but it needs to show your head and shoulders. Make sure that you look friendly. Yes, it's professional, but you can still look friendly. Moving on to the LinkedIn background image. So this is also called a cover photo, and it's an opportunity for you to showcase what you are promoting. Some do's and don'ts for your background image is think about something that's meaningful when you're posting and updating this background image. Think about something that will mean something to your audience, but don't make it too copy heavy. I've seen a couple of LinkedIn background images that have so much copy, but the problem is LinkedIn displays differently on different devices. So if you're using your desktop, your laptop to connect on LinkedIn, your background is going to look nice and clear, as opposed to if you're using these small devices where it might change the layout of your screen. So you want to have a background image that will look good across all devices. Something to note over here is we are currently running a hashtag She Owns Her Success campaign. And through internal comms, we sent out some LinkedIn banners that you can use to update your own cover image. So keep an eye out on comms from the Momentum corporate email, and we'll be regularly sending background images from time to time. As I mentioned when I started the presentation, we're on a journey to reposition the brand. So we've got some new and exciting, fresh images that we'd like to share. So we'll be sharing a number of these just to keep your profile nice and fresh. Now I want to move to a headline. So your headline is the section that sits right below your name. Think about this headline and think about how you want to position it. So I've seen two types of headline. I've seen people that use a title, their job title as a headline, and I've seen people that use functional value as a headline. Now, what is functional value? For example, for myself, I said that my headline is I help brands bring their marketing strategies to life. So think about your headline from the prospect's point of view. If somebody's visiting your page for the first time, they've never seen you, they don't know who you are, they don't know what you're about, this one line should give them a summarized version of what they can expect from you. Some people, like I mentioned, do use their professional job titles. I'd like to share something that I found very interesting, and this is Emda Fouree's profile. So what Emda could have done was to say in her profile that she is the head of employee benefits consulting. But Emda used a bit of a creative streak, and this is her headline. Emda Fouree, helping organizations design their employee benefits to optimize their EVP. Emda, if you're joining today, like, please, girl, give yourself a round of applause, because whoa, this is a profile that is just sublime. It's great to see that even if I've never engaged with Emda before, I know exactly what to expect when I visit her profile. And this is great opportunity for leads generation as well, because right up front, you know exactly that this is somebody that can help you with employee benefits. You know exactly that this is somebody that's in the EVP space. So try as much as possible, if you can, to make it a functional value and not just a title. I've also mentioned that don't use any jargon. Don't use any jargon in your headline. I've seen some headlines, for example, somebody said in their headline, I am the IMC of the IBM EVP ... And you're thinking to yourself, what does that mean? It's jargon that is specific to an industry, and nobody else on LinkedIn would really know what that is if they're not in your industry. So if you are using your title or a functional value, please be mindful of the prospect when they visit your page. What is it that they're likely to see? How will they understand and how will they receive that? So Emda, great job on that functional value. Maybe you can help some of our other colleagues draft their own headlines. And then something that I want to mention in the profile as well, you'll see right underneath the headline, there's an opportunity for you to click on this Open To button. This is a great tool for our sales and distribution, direct distribution teams. And let me show you why it's such a great tool right now. So I'm going to go to LinkedIn and show you what you can do with this Open To button. I'm going to go to my own profile to demonstrate this. Right, so I'm on my LinkedIn profile. I hope you can see it. All you do is click on Open To. And then it asks you, are you open to finding a new job? Which I hope nobody is. Are you open to hiring? And then a third option is, are you open to providing any services? right? And then if you click on that, so you'll click on open to providing any services, and then it will enable you to then populate that sheet, that form that comes up. So you can in 500 words, actually not words, it's character count. So it gives you a character count of 500 characters, and you can state what your service is, what makes you stand out as a candidate to provide this service, and then you can actually list what the services are. So if we have any of our salespeople on the call, think about the services that you provide. If we have any people from our MCAA team, think about the services that you provide, and you can add them all here. And then there's an opportunity for you to state where people will be able to find you. And there's also an opportunity for you to say if you want this to be visible to all LinkedIn members or just your LinkedIn network. So I hope this is a nifty tool that our salespeople will be using and that will really come in handy. Okay, so moving on. Now it's time for the did you know? So like I said, it's time for us to stretch just a bit, just to get the blood flowing. While you stretch, I'm sharing a fun fact. So did you know that you can track your engagement and your status on LinkedIn to see how well you are performing and how well your profile is being received by the LinkedIn network? So I hope you're done stretching, because I'm about to show you how you can do this. You can track your performance on LinkedIn in two ways. The first is your LinkedIn dashboard, and the second is something called your social selling index. Now let's demonstrate what these two are. I'm going to start with your LinkedIn dashboard. So I'm going to stop sharing and go to LinkedIn and show you this dashboard and what you can actually find on the dashboard. So this is your dashboard here. For everybody that has a LinkedIn profile, if you just scroll down, so from your about section at the top that we've just completed, you get this dashboard here. It's private to you. And here at the side, it tells you how is your LinkedIn profile rated? All-star just means it's a great profile, it's well populated, it's got all the goodies. And then this information here is valuable to you, especially if you're somebody that engages on LinkedIn and is looking for opportunities to engage with more people. You want to know how many people viewed your profile. If you click on that, it will tell you that in the space of 90 days, this is how many people viewed your profile and what is the demographic of those people. So we're not just interested in people viewing our profiles. We want to know who they are. If we're in the sales teams, we want to know, are these possibly prospects for business? We want to know how many people, secondly, viewed our posts. So if you've posted something on LinkedIn recently, you want to know how many people that has reached. Sorry, I was frozen there for a bit. I think the network went down. Can you all hear me? Lloyd, Yvette, please just give me the thumbs up.
All good?
You're all good.
Thank you. These things happen, I tell you.
I was just about to play some music.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience. So I was still explaining this here about the search appearances. So every time somebody searches for you on LinkedIn, they can either type your name and search for you, but if you've listed yourself as a service provider, e.g., I am open to providing services on employee benefits consulting. Every time somebody on LinkedIn types that in the search box, that they are looking for an employee benefits consultant or something along those lines of the services that you provide. Every time your name or your profile comes up in those search results, this will be the indicator that you're looking for to see how many times your name came up in those search results. So that was one way of tracking your profile performance, okay? Then the second way, and I'd like everyone to please type this in their search engines. If you can see the screen, please type this, your name and surname right next to each other, no spaces in between, /linkedin.com/sales/SSI. Please type it in as it stands on the screen, no spaces in between. So your name and surname /linkedin.com/sales/SSI. I'm going to do a quick demonstration of what this is. It's called the Social Selling Index. And I'm going to go to a new tab on my Google. Over here. And I'm going to type my name and surname /linkedin.com/sales/SSI. You can see it comes up here because I'm always checking this report. So Google is just tracking all my behavior. Once you've typed this in, you'll be able to see the search result. The first result that pops up, click on that one. It says sign in to Sales Navigator. All right. Then it generates something called your Social Selling Index report. I hope everyone was able to get to this. If you haven't, please let us know in the chat box. We'll go over it when we do questions and answers. But I just want to run through this report. It's a one-page report, and you might also in. So if you can't click on this, let me just go back. If you click on this and it prompts you to log in, use your LinkedIn password. So the password that you use for LinkedIn, that's what you use to open this report. And then it opens up your Social Selling Index. And right at the top, it tells you what percentage in your industry do you stand in terms of social selling. Now, what is social selling? Social selling is the ability to build relationships and to sell online. That's it. That's in a summarized version. But that's just our ability to use LinkedIn, because this is a LinkedIn specific report, to use LinkedIn to build meaningful connections and relationships and to sell whatever it is that we want to sell on LinkedIn. So if you're not sure what industry you are in, because you probably completed your profile eons ago and you can't remember, if you scroll down, it's going to tell you here which industry you've noted. So for me, I'm in the marketing and advertising industry. And at the top, it says I am in the top 3% of my industry. So in my entire industry, I'm ranking in the top 3%. And in my network, so the people that follow me and the people that I follow in my network, I'm in the top 7%. So I'd like us to focus on this part of the report, which shows 4 components that make up your social selling score. These 4 components are all ranked, or they all scored out of 25. So all these marks here, I'm saying marks now, but yeah, the scores are out of 25. So out of 25, the first one is establishing your professional brand. This means that is your profile complete with the end customer in mind? Are your posts considered to be meaningful to your audience? And then it will generate a score. So out of 25, my posts are on 19.22, which I think is good, but it can get better. The second component is finding the right people. So this means, are you connected with the right people for what you are selling or promoting? E.g., our salespeople. You might have been on LinkedIn, you might have joined LinkedIn long time ago, and probably all your connections are your aunt, your mom, your dad, your siblings, people that you went to high school with. So chances are those aren't really the connections that will be valuable towards getting you that deal. So you want to be in front of people that will be prospective clients in the future. So this simply means if you've been engaging with people over time and you realize that they aren't yielding any results for your business, then do a profile audit or a connections audit. So all the people that are connected to you, all the people that follow you, are they still relevant for your profile? If not, simply unfollow or disconnect from them. It's that easy, and no love lost. I mean, you can still love them in your personal space, but for LinkedIn, because we're there for brand building and we're there to generate leads, we want to be in front of the people that matter. So you want to be in front of your CFOs, your CEOs, your decision makers, your HR directors. Those are the people that you want to be in touch with. So this tells me that in my network, for my specific objectives, I'm 14.32, which also can get better. Then the third component is engaging with insights. So do people find your posts to be conversation worthy? So somebody might like your post, but that doesn't make it conversation worthy if they're not commenting on it or they're not sharing it with somebody else. So we want to get to a point where when we post something, people like it and they comment because it just sparked something inside of them. So that's where we want to get. And I'm on 10, woo, very low. So this can definitely be better. And then lastly, building relationships. So strengthening your network by finding and establishing trust with key decision makers. Very similar to this component here of finding the right people. And it just means, are you in front of those people that will propel you in your journey towards whatever ambition that you have on LinkedIn? Then all of these 25, 25, 25 give you a score out of 100. So please don't feel bad if you've scored anything lower than 100. Okay, I haven't met anyone who scored 100 out of 100. It just simply means this is an opportunity for us to do better, to grow our LinkedIn profile, to become better at engaging on LinkedIn, to be in front of the right people. It just means that there's opportunity to grow and do better. Then the last part of the report just shows you your industry averages. So in my industry, on average, people score 26 out of 100. And in my network, on average, people score 36 out of 100. So I'm really hoping to get questions on this SSI index later on in the presentation. So please, please, please drop your questions in the Q&A box. Next up, we're back on our LinkedIn profiles and we're talking about the About section. So have you ever done an elevator pitch before? Dragon's Den things. Now's your time to shine. So this About section allows you in 2,000 characters to say something about yourself. Now, this is not like your CV cover letter where you probably want to list your experiences and some nice accomplishments, but really go big, be creative, don't be shy. This is your profile. So there are some examples here, but I won't go into those now. What I'll do is I can just pop this onto the chat and you can look for the examples. But if you're also not sure, just go on to Google. Google is a great source of learning for all of us, and just say profile examples for LinkedIn, the about section, and it will tell you what to populate this with. Use your creative freedom. Don't be afraid, but NB, spell and grammar check everything that you do and include some fun facts about yourself. So if there's anything in your personal life that you want to include, do that, but don't go overboard. Great, that's the about section. Next up is the featured section of your profile. Now, this is where you can manually add samples of your work or any other activities that you've been part of or that you were featured in outside of LinkedIn. And it's just to amplify your skills and your experiences. So I'll do a demo of how you complete your featured section. So I'm just going back to LinkedIn. And I'm on my profile now. So I want to include some featured information. You simply just come to featured and you click on this plus sign here. Then it will give you a drop-down menu of the kind of material that you want to add. So there's different kinds of things that can be included in your featured section. It can be a post, something that was posted on LinkedIn that you've posted in the past. It can be an article that you've published on LinkedIn, or it can be a link that lives off of LinkedIn, or any other media that lives off of LinkedIn. So as you can see on my profile, I've included some things that I've done, and these were not posted on LinkedIn. So I just clicked on media, and this was some work of mine that's on YouTube, for example. So anything that's not on LinkedIn that you want to add here, great, go for it. This is your time to shine. Just take it. Okay, that's the featured section. Then we have the activity section. Now, this is really great because it showcases all your activity on LinkedIn. So it's interesting, and I don't know why social media does this, but you know that saying that says once it's on social media, it stays there forever. And you might do something and delete it, but trust me, it stays. But anyway, LinkedIn has this feature of keeping everything that we do. So everything that you do, every comment you make, if you like somebody's post, if you share something, it keeps track of that and it stores all of it in your activity section. So if you go to your activity section, that's everything that you've liked, you've commented on, you've reshared. If you yourself have written a post, it will be on that activity section. Now, this is great because it's a snapshot of your LinkedIn activity. And if you haven't been active on LinkedIn, then that activity section will tell you that you need to do some more work and engage with people on LinkedIn. So now, if you're on LinkedIn creator mode, LinkedIn is not going to track your comments and reshares of other people's posts. It's going to only keep track of your posts. And that's the screenshot that I've included of Kawegazi's activity section. Remember when we started off in the presentation, we showed that she's on LinkedIn creator mode. So her activity only relates to everything that she was featured on or everything that she commented on that relates to herself, as opposed to somebody else. Now, let me show you on my profile because I'm currently not on LinkedIn creator mode. On my profile, if we go to activity, it shows me other people's content that I've commented on. So I've commented this morning on somebody's article, and I said, oh, this is great. Now, why wouldn't you want to include other people's activity? This is simply because if somebody visits my profile and they're scrolling down on my profile and they land up on the activity section, if they come across something that I commented, which was not about me, then they leave my profile and they go to that specific content piece and they're done with my profile. So if you're trying to create a captive audience, if you're trying to make sure that people come to your profile and they stay on your profile because you've just got engaging content, then go on to LinkedIn Creator Mode. Then it will simply remove and filter out all the other comments that are not relating to your content. I really hope this makes sense. I tried to synthesize as much as possible. If you're not sure, please, the Q&A box, please, 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 Q&A, please. Next up, I want to talk about your experience. I'm not going to do a demo on this, but your experience, try to include as much as possible on your experience, apart from just what you do, what your job title is. So try to include what your roles and responsibilities are, and also include some accomplishments. Surely you've done something great in your role in the past year or so or more. And with each role that you've had, you've done some great things and you've been part of exciting projects. Include that under your experience. So if you've won a Kutaza Recognition Award, include that to say, I was in this, I'm going to use Kawe's title. I was Chief Marketing Officer at Momentum Corporate, and I was part of the team that launched the brand new positioning, and this was our achievement, or this was our outcome. So include those things about yourselves, because it's not just about ticking the box of having experience there, but it's really about how did you show up in that specific role. And don't do anything that you wouldn't do on your CV, please. If you won't do it on your CV, don't do it here. And one of those things is lying. So just don't fabricate anything or tell any untruths. Great. Then there's the education section of your profile. You can also add this section on and include some exciting things that you were part of, or projects that you did, or anything that you did in your educational years, or if you're still studying, if there's any exciting projects that you're part of, include that in your profile. We want to see you. Just take the moment to shine. It's your profile. Use it, shine. So that's education. Now for another did you know? So it's time to stretch. While you stretch, I'm drinking water because I am thirsty. So while you stretch, I'm sharing another fun fact. Did you know that there are 4 Takealot vouchers worth 500 Rand each, up for grabs? And how do you qualify to win a voucher? Simply attend the webinar, which you're doing today. Update your profile. So use everything that we're sharing today to update your profile, put it into practice. And then engage with the post on the Momentum Corporate page. At the end of a month, so a month from now, which would be somewhere in October, not a month from now, but a month from our last webinar, we'll be tracking the posts and the profiles to see which one is doing great, and the post with the most likes, or the post that generates the most likes, stands a chance to win. So don't miss out on an opportunity just to get 500 Rand just for LinkedIn. Don't be that person. Great. So I hope you've stretched. And we're moving on to the profile extras. So this I've just bundled up into one section. I called it profile extras because I'm not going to go into each and every one of them in detail, but these are the extra things that you can include on your profile just to give it more va-va-voom. You can include some volunteering experience. licenses and certifications, just for just to add that credibility to your profile, any skills and endorsements. So you can add a couple of skills to your profile, some recommendations. So ask for a recommendation. So after this webinar, I'm going to ask Yolandi and some of my other colleagues, Kawe, I'm going to ask you for a recommendation. Who else is here? I think Naledi's here. I think I saw Naledi's name. Somebody that you've worked with before, ask them for a recommendation. So how has it been? How have you experienced me as a colleague? Ask for that recommendation and also give a recommendation. So don't just be on the receiving end, but be a giver. And you can also list some of your accomplishments and your interests. I've noted here that take some LinkedIn courses. So if you find yourself to be at a point in your career where you're not actively studying, there are short courses on LinkedIn which won't even take you how long? The shortest course I've seen was what? 2 hours. It was a 2-hour course. So you can do some of those just to add some flavor to your LinkedIn profile and of course your professional journey. Now, something that I want to focus on for a bit more time is the profile section on our settings. So I'd like us to just all shift focus and go into settings, because settings are an important part of how your profile shows up. So how you access your settings, I'm on LinkedIn now, and I'm going to click under this drop-down arrow here. And I click on settings and privacy. And it opens up the LinkedIn settings. So there are 6 categories of settings, and each one has different kinds of settings and what these settings actually do. So in your own time, I would like you to please go through these settings and make sure that these are optimally set to give your profile that opportunity to shine, because sometimes you find that, let me use an example. There's a setting here that allows you to switch on whether you want people to see your surname or not. So sometimes my name can appear as Matlodi K. And really, who is Matlodi K? So there's a setting where you can undo that and show your full surname. So please just take some time and go through these settings in detail. For example, there's a setting here that asks whether you want to automatically play videos. So when LinkedIn opens up, do you want those videos to automatically play? That's an example of a setting. But a setting that I want us to just go to and change together is this one here. So I'm on visibility. So in the category of visibility under settings, just click on visibility of your profile. And then it asks you a couple of questions. So profile viewing options. Are you visible or viewing in private mode? So my profile is not in private mode. That just simply means if anyone comes to my profile, they can see my full profile. So you can go through these in your own time. Another setting that I'd like us to change together, if you're interested, that is under visibility of your LinkedIn activity. So I want you to backtrack a few slides back when I spoke about Dumo's profile. So Dumo's profile is a standard LinkedIn profile. Dumo is not on LinkedIn creator mode. However, he is an executive with a busy schedule and busy days. So he also does not have time to accept connection requests. So what we've recommended for Dumo to do is to change his connect button to the follow button. So everyone who visits his profile will automatically follow Dumo and can engage with his content. So how he did that without activating LinkedIn creator mode is he simply went to his settings, and under the visibility category, he clicked on visibility of your LinkedIn activity, and then he clicked on this here, followers. And now this says make follow primary, meaning will your follow button be the primary button? Mine is on no, meaning that if you currently come to my profile and we are not connected, you are going to see the connect button. That means after this session, everyone who sent me connection requests, I'm going to have to go to LinkedIn and manually, one by one, accept, which can be very tedious and time consuming and exhausting. But it's also good if you want to filter the kinds of connections that you have. So if you want to filter the kind of people that you engage with, then it's good. Keep your connect button. But if you want to make the follow button primary, then just say yes. And then automatically anyone that comes to your profile will see follow, they follow you, great. But for me, I'm still on that journey where I'm sussing out my LinkedIn connections, because remember we spoke about the social selling index and we want to be connected to really valuable connections. So at the moment, it's like the dating game. Ne? You don't just accept all. You have to check and see who is this now asking to be connected, because then otherwise, really the whole world will want to be connected to you. So this is a setting that you can enable. I am going to make a plea that you please, in your spare time, go through each of these settings and customize them to give your profile the best time to shine. All right, I'm having a glass of water. It's not time to stretch yet. It's just me talking now about how to engage on LinkedIn. So now we've spoken at great length about the profile, how to put this profile together, what to include in the different sections. But now you've got a great profile. What then? Now we're talking about how to engage on LinkedIn. Think about your LinkedIn engagement as a lunchtime conversation at work. So these are not lunchtime conversations at home where you're catching up about, whoa, this happened over the weekend, there was a party. No, on LinkedIn, it's professional conversations as we would have it around the coffee station when we're just engaging with our colleagues. So it's professional, but still sociable. It's respectable, but still has that friendly tone. Ultimately, you're still human. So don't try so much to be professional that even in the way that you post on LinkedIn has so much jargon and it's very technical and it's very heavy, it's bombastic English. You're still human. So connect and speak and write in a way that people will understand. But before you go there, I want to make you aware of the group, Momentum Metropolitan Group social media policy. Very important that you make some time to go through this policy. I would have loved to have a session specifically for this, but that's not for me to do. There was a session that was hosted by group before, and please just look out for that. It's probably in your emails. It was some time ago, 2 or 3 months ago. I'm just going to share some highlights for you on the social media policy and what you should be looking out for. Number 1, every single thing that you say reflects on the group. So even if you're not tagging Momentum Corporate or tagging Momentum or any of the MMH brands, everything that you say reflects on the group. Even if it's a reshare. I'll make an example. On Twitter, there's this mob justice mentality. And maybe you're on Twitter one day and you really fired up about a certain political issue, and it's not your post, but somebody else posts something about a political party, and you just in your fire and you really agree and you reshare that. you've just said something about the Momentum Metropolitan Group. So rather steer clear of anything that is politically charged, because everything that you do, even a reshare, reflects on the group. Secondly, don't speak or respond on behalf of the group. So we've got a dedicated team of PR experts and reputation management experts, but we've also got trained spokespeople to comment on any issues relating to group activity. So if you find yourself in a conversation where people are talking about any of our group activity, please refer that to anyone in the marketing team. It can be also anyone in our exco teams, and they'll help to escalate that to the right people. Lastly, when in doubt, ask. Ask a colleague, ask someone in the marketing team. It can be Kawe, Yolandi, myself, Chrissy, Naledi, anyone in the marketing team, Helen. If you're not sure, ask, because we have a close relationship with our PR and reputational management team. So we'll be able to say whether this is muddy waters or you're good to go. So when you just feel that hunch of uncertainty, maybe that's an opportunity for you to ask. And then lastly, on this issue, please, please, please spend some time on the social media policy. It's an easy document to read through. So just go through it. You can find it on the intranet, inside.momentummetropolitan.co.za, and it's under the policies. Spend some time and don't get caught on shaky territory. Now it's time for a poll. I would like to know, how are you currently engaged on LinkedIn? Yvette, can you please bring up the poll? So there are 5 options on the screen, and I'd like to know how you currently engage on LinkedIn. Number 1, I have not used LinkedIn. Number 2, well, I use LinkedIn, but I only update my profile. Number 3, I scroll the timeline and I like what others are posting. Number 4, I post every now and again. Number 5, girl, I am a resident on LinkedIn. From articles to LinkedIn groups, I do it all. So please select your answer. Let's just give it a few more seconds. Great. Can we see the results? Let's see how people are engaging. Oh, nice. I'm actually quite surprised. I am pleasantly surprised. So 50% of people on the call say that you scroll the timeline and you like what others are posting, which is really great. Can I give you a round of applause? Because I was actually expecting that nobody's on LinkedIn. I'm not judging, but I just didn't expect. This is good because it shows that you've taken the first step to engaging on LinkedIn, which is from time to time going onto LinkedIn, scrolling, seeing what's happening on the timeline, and seeing what colleagues or anyone else on LinkedIn is doing. So really great. That's exciting. So I want to talk now about, I'm going to stop sharing and try to share again. Because my presentation is frozen. So let's just scroll down and present. Great. So I'd like to take you to the LinkedIn timeline. And I found this to be so funny. Somebody said, and this is a Twitter user, they said the LinkedIn timeline, a place that is safer than the Twitter streets. I laughed when I saw this because I know how horrendous the Twitter streets are. If you don't know what the Twitter streets are, I want to give you a challenge this weekend. When you have some downtime, just go onto Twitter. Just spend the whole weekend on Twitter and see what this person means. If it's not cancel culture, if it's not somebody falling, if it's not hashtag you must fall, there is always something going on Twitter. So I thank whoever it is in management who said that Momentum Corporate will only for now have a presence on LinkedIn because it's such a safe space. It's such a positive environment to be in. There's no cancel culture. No one and nothing is falling. Everyone is just cheering each other on, and it's a great place to be for some encouragement. Now you'll see on this side of the screen, I've got my own timeline on, and this is just to give you an example of the kinds of content that is on my timeline, and it's based on the things and conversations that I follow. For example, TED Talks. I'm a big TED Talks girl. I love TED Talks. I follow TED conferences, and from time to time, they publish these really nifty short videos, which I find so inspirational, and they can just lift up your day and your mood and give you some creative ideas. So LinkedIn is the place to be for that. On this timeline, if you scroll your own timeline, you'll see that there's an opportunity for you to join a group. You can join LinkedIn events. These are the groups that I'm part of. Some events that you can attend. You can also follow some hashtags. So all you do is you go to LinkedIn and you go to the search button at the top and you search for literally whatever. So you can, for example, search for hashtag Momentum Corporate Employee Benefits. And that will give you everything that we've posted because it's Momentum Corporate. Hello. On Momentum Corporate Employee Benefits. So it's a safe place and it's a safe environment for career-related and inspirational content. Now, this is how you can also engage on LinkedIn, and I've categorized it into 3 main pillars. Pillar number 1, you can take center stage. As you can see, this guy in the picture, he's almost like taking center stage. He's in front and everybody's sort of listening and engaging with him. You can do this by writing a post. You're not sure what post, what must I write? What can I write about? Maybe you've recently won a Kutaza Recognition Award. You can write about that. Hi, LinkedIn, I'm so happy. I've just been nominated. I've just won a Kutaza Recognition Award, and then tag Momentum Corporate, you know? So there's the scope is wide of what you can do. You can publish an article. You can go onto LinkedIn Live. LinkedIn Live is actually a new feature. You've probably seen, if you are on social media, you've probably seen Facebook and Instagram have this live function where people just go onto live and they talk about things that are happening, current events or things that are happening in their own lives. So LinkedIn Live is more professional. So you can't just go onto LinkedIn Live, but you need to submit an application to go live. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, LinkedIn also wants to make sure that their profile produces and promotes the best authentic and really valuable content. So this is something that we're still learning about as a Momentum Corporate Marketing team. And hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to go live. Think Partnership Connect event 2022. Maybe that's a webinar and a LinkedIn Live event. You can create a LinkedIn story. So if you use LinkedIn on your cell phone, you can create a LinkedIn story. So if you're on WhatsApp, if you go to WhatsApp stories, you know those short 30-second stories, you can do the same on LinkedIn. So maybe there's something interesting that happened at work, you were part of a meeting and there was something really great, somebody had a great aha moment, post that as a LinkedIn story. So I've just put Dumo's picture here. Go to Dumo's profile and see the kinds of engagement that he's had. He's written 2 or 3 articles. Dumo is brand advocate number 1. I promise you, he shares the post, he likes posts, he writes his own posts. So use that as inspiration on what you can do on your profile. The second pillar is engage with your network. So it's not all about you all the time. So engage with other people's posts. If somebody's posting something interesting and thought-provoking, engage with that. Celebrate their achievements. If you see that somebody has a work anniversary, celebrate them. Give recommendations like I mentioned before. Tag a colleague. If you come across something and it really sparks something in you, tag them at Kawegazi. Look, did you see this? Maybe some thoughts on our brand positioning. You know what I mean? Thirdly, the third pillar is network, like really network, because there's many opportunities out there. So you can follow a hashtag that interests you. You can follow companies, hint competitors. You can follow competitors. I'd like to proudly say that Momentum Corporate is the only employee benefits company that's on LinkedIn that has a specific LinkedIn page. Like we have our own LinkedIn page. Sanlam Corporate also has a LinkedIn page, but it's not categorized as a page. They've made it, it's called a, I forgot the word now. It eludes me. I'll remember later. But Momentum Corporate is the only in our category that has a LinkedIn page. So kudos to Momentum Corporate. Follow our other competitors, see what they're doing. Maybe that can be, so not for you to move, but for you to get inspiration and to see, suss out the market, what's happening out there. Follow some thought leaders. Maybe you're interested in content by Richard Branson or somebody. Follow that. Follow Momentum Corporate, obviously. Join LinkedIn groups. These are great sales opportunities that are in those groups, because LinkedIn groups is, for example, I can create a group. Let's say I decide to be a thought leader on a topic. Let's say my topic is employee benefits, and I want to create a group for all the employee benefits people that are interested in the topic of employee benefits. Then I can create a group for that. But obviously LinkedIn must vet and verify the contents of that group and what you'll be talking about on that group. So there are currently pre-existing groups on LinkedIn. You just need to search for it. So I'll give you an example. Just search for leadership. You'll see what comes up there, and there's a group for that. And then another thing that I want to mention is make time for your LinkedIn. It's about the time investment that you put in. So how about a lunch and LinkedIn Friday? So when you're taking your Friday lunch, use that as your opportunity to engage on LinkedIn. Write a post, share a post, comment on somebody's status, join a group. So I just want to quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to just show you what I was talking about now, because it is quite a mouthful. So I'm just going to go to LinkedIn and show you what I mean when I say groups and hashtags and all of that. So all you do is go to LinkedIn, and this search button here at the top of your LinkedIn page, this one here, you literally just type in, let's see, I'm going to say employee benefits, okay? And I click on enter. So look at what happens. It gives you categories of things that you can engage with around employee benefits. Example, they are posts. So these are things that people have posted about employee benefits. There are people that talk about employee benefits that you can follow. There are groups about employee benefits. There are companies related to employee benefits. Hopefully, when we click on companies, Momentum Corporate would come up on this companies. There are jobs related to employee benefits. There are courses on employee benefits. There are schools, events, services. So there are different filters. So every time you search for something, there's a list of things related to that thing that you are searching for that you can be part of. So take some time and find out what it is that you're interested in. Follow those things, engage with them. Whew. Okay. I'm back now on my presentation. And this is where I want to be. So on the topic of engaging, I want to talk about the power of sharing, and specifically the power of sharing Momentum Corporate posts. And at the bottom, you'll see I've got Nashlin Portrag's photo here. He's the head of Funds at Work, and Rudy van Rooyen's picture here, and he's the head of Group Insurance. So these two gentlemen have been absolute rock stars on LinkedIn. Can we please just give it up for them? Because they've been consummate LinkedIn engagers. They constantly engage with our content on the Momentum corporate page. And I just want to show you what has come about of that engagement. So if I go to LinkedIn, and I go to, so if you go to LinkedIn, just search for Momentum Corporate. For me, I can find it quite easily because this is my daily bread. So if you go to the Momentum Corporate page, I'm just making an example of the power of sharing. You go to page posts, and I'm going to pick a post that relates to Rudy or Nash. Let's find Rudy's post. So this is a post related to our current midday report campaign that we're running on 702 and Cape Talk. And on this campaign, we have weekly radio interviews on 702 and Cape Talk. So what we do at the end of each interview is we publish a snippet of the interview and a link to the full interview so that our audience can also engage and learn about our business. So on my side, it shows me that I've got 865 video views. So these are the people that watched this video, Rudy's video, when he was on 702. But then what happened is that Rudy himself shared this video and he got over 1,000 video views, which is exceptional, which means that in total, if we would calculate it, it would probably add up to 1,800 plus video views. Now that's great because it simply means that more and more people are becoming aware of our brand and our content is not just staying on the Momentum corporate page, but it's getting legs, it's growing, and more people are becoming exposed to Momentum corporate. So that's the power of sharing. And I just want to say thank you so much to our loyal LinkedIn people that engage with Momentum Corporate. That's Rudy, Nash, Dumo, Kawe, who else is quite engaging? Tepi from Member Solutions, she's also quite great. So continue doing that. Emda as well. Emda is really, really great at growing a LinkedIn network. So thanks. I'm going back to the presentation. We're almost there. I want us to have enough time for questions and answers. But before we do that, we are going to stretch for the last time, hopefully. So while you stretch, I'm sharing a fun fact. Did you know that 93% of all business-to-business marketers consider LinkedIn to be the most effective leads generation social media site, the most effective leads generation tool? And that's simply because business people are on LinkedIn. And when they are on LinkedIn, they're wearing their business hats. So this is really great from a leads generation point of view. As you know, I've mentioned it a couple of times in this presentation that Momentum Corporate is undergoing a positioning launch, and we want to be known as a Momentum Corporate that prioritizes human experiences. As part of that journey, we really want to build and seed a leads generation process and streamline it. So from our website to our LinkedIn, to any other online engagements relating to Momentum Corporate, we want to streamline that process and make sure that our leads generation process is as effective as possible. But I can guarantee you that LinkedIn is the best place for us to be. And this is a note for our salespeople as well, that if you're in the business of making business, LinkedIn is the place to be. Talk about your services. Show yourself that you're open to providing consulting services or whatever it is that's linked to the services that you're providing, because this is an effective tool. People trust the content that's on LinkedIn. So you've stretched, that's great. We're almost at the home run, and I want to talk about LinkedIn Creator Mode. So I mentioned it in the beginning and it was probably very murky, didn't make sense, but now I want to talk about what is this LinkedIn Creator Mode? Do I need it? Is it relevant for me? What is LinkedIn Creator Mode? I mentioned earlier on that it's a great level up on the standard LinkedIn profile. So if you are somebody that frequently engages on LinkedIn, you've got a great thought leadership, you write articles, you publish, and you want people to follow you, that's the great thing to do, to move to LinkedIn Creators. Why does it matter? It matters because LinkedIn was predominantly just known as a platform for CV professional, just CV, just keep it at CV, just keep it at professional. But more and more people are using LinkedIn to publish content, and it's becoming exciting. So this is an exciting way to just level up from your traditional standard profile. Who is it for? Anyone. So even you, if you find yourself to be somebody that's active on LinkedIn, you're engaging a lot, and you're saying things and people are loving you, go to LinkedIn Creators. Now, how do I activate LinkedIn Creator Mode? It's simple. It's just a click of a button, I promise you. I'm going to go to LinkedIn now to demonstrate how you go onto LinkedIn Creator Mode. You don't have to create a new profile. You don't have to do anything out of the ordinary. All you do on your standard profile, once your profile has been updated and it looks clean and nice and presentable, you just scroll down, all right, to this section here. We spoke about this section earlier on. It's your dashboard. Just below that, you'll see this here. It says Creator Mode. Currently, my Creator Mode is off. If I click on that and I scroll down, so this is just more info on Creator Mode, and I click on Next, I can add 5 hashtags that I am interested in and that my content is centered around. So for me personally, I'm very interested in communications, in public speaking, in community impact, youth leadership. Add your 5 hashtags. Perhaps yours are employee benefits, consulting, market leadership, financial growth. So add those hashtags. You can only add 5 of them. Click on Save. And voila, LinkedIn Creator Mode has been turned on. So now you're not just a standard profile, but you're LinkedIn Creator Mode, who is not just present, but is present and engaging. That's it. That's all you need to do. So you can also click on Learn More, but I'm not interested to learn more. I'm going to say no thanks. Creator Mode is on. I just want to show you what happened. The only change on my profile was this, the 5 hashtags. That just means it was this and the follow button. So if you were engaging in the presentation up until now, and you probably sent me a connection request, I'm still going to get that connection request, right? However, if you want to connect with me now, and you were not previously connected to me, you'll see my profile now says follow instead of connect. That means that I won't have the opportunity to filter the people that follow me because they just follow me at their own time, and I won't be able to accept any connection requests. And then also the 5 hashtags are now on my profile, which is great and exciting. Greatness. So I'm back on the presentation, and I would like to be over here. We're almost done. Few minutes. So you're probably asking yourself, what is Momentum Corporate up to on LinkedIn? I'm glad you asked. So So we've got quite a comprehensive thought leadership objective on LinkedIn. Everything that we do is driven by thought leadership. We want to establish our presence as thought leaders in the market, and we're using LinkedIn as a tool to do that. So we've got monthly themes that we focus on. I'll make an example with Mental Illness Awareness Month. So if that was in May, so if you engaged with us in May, you probably saw some content around mental illness awareness. There was also a psychiatric webinar that the disability team organized in a month before that. So we post all that content. So that's the monthly themes. We've also got National Savings Month. Coming up soon is, what do we have? We've got Cancer Awareness Month. So we post content related to those monthly themes. But we've also got an approach to bake the brand into cultural moments. An example of this would be an article that Kawekazi published on her own profile that was it also happened to be around Mental Illness Awareness Month. And this was about what's been happening now in the market, in current affairs and in the sporting environment, to be particular, with Naomi Osaka refraining from taking part in sports to protect her mental health. So we bake the brand and we find key moments in culture where we can have a voice or a stance based on our product and service offering. We also amplify our campaigns. So Partnership Connect is an example of an event that we had that really did well. People joined. We had executives, financial advisors who joined the event, but we also, we amplified that on social media, and we continue to amplify the research paper that came out of Partnership Connect and the key findings of that research paper, because we're establishing thought leadership. So this is how we're doing it. We also have the midday report with Mandy Wiener. It's a 12-week campaign that started in July, and every week we've got interviews with our business leaders, and we posting those interviews. An example of that is Rudy's interview that I showed you a couple of minutes ago. And then we've got other campaigns that we amplify, and these are campaigns launched by Central Marketing. An example is She Owns Her Success. So we try to tap into those as and when we can. And lastly, our repositioning. I'm sure if there's one thing that you're going to get at the end of this masterclass is the Momentum Corporate repositioning. We are on the journey of repositioning the brand from being employee benefits provider to Momentum Corporate prioritizes the human experience for the success of businesses and employees. So we are going to ramp up our efforts on LinkedIn to really push that messaging. Over the next few months, you're going to see a lot of activity around our repositioning. One of those being some cool videos around demystifying employee benefits. I'm sure you know, as much as you are an employee at Momentum Corporate, but employee benefits is very technical, it's confusing. So we're doing some things to demystify and connect with our audience in a different way that will help them feel like they understand their benefits better, or they understand the world of employee benefits better. So I'm making a plea. Follow us on Momentum Corporate. Engage with our content. Share those videos when you see them. Tag somebody else, even if they're not a Momentum Corporate employee, and really immerse the brand and build the brand so that we can achieve our objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending time with me this afternoon. It is 1:30. I feel like I ran ran through all the content, but the only reason I did that was to allow ample time for questions and answers. So just to wrap up, a thought to wrap up was, when I started LinkedIn, I was a novice. In fact, I was probably below novice level. I was at negative zero. And as each day progresses, I'm getting better at LinkedIn. I'm understanding so many things. And I thought I was becoming a LinkedIn master. I mean, even today, I was like, yeah, I'm the master. Until I learned something called product pages. This morning, I kid you not, I learned about product pages. Somebody was saying something and they said product page. And I thought, now what's that? Surely I'm not a master. But ultimately, that's the thing with digital evolution and social media. You need to be linked in to the learning and dedicate time to the growth process. Ultimately, the joy is in the journey. Thanks, colleagues. It's been really great spending time with you this afternoon. My name is Matlodi Khatle, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you on the question and answer session now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can raise your hand, ask the questions, and let's make it engaging. So if you do have a question, raise your hand, come onto camera if you can, or just your voice is fine. I'd like to see some faces, some proof of life, and let's get some questions going. Great. Any questions? No questions. Okay, maybe let me start with the Q&A. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe what I should do is go, okay, let me do this. Okay, I can see a question. Kawe, you've got a question. Do you want to come up on screen and ask your question?
Hi, Matlodi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so I wanted to ask the question around, you mentioned that, there are certain themes on LinkedIn, and it's a comment really to say, please, can we check that we as Momentum Corporate pop up on companies or themes that are centered around employee benefits? So all the content that we're going to be creating, especially with the new brand positioning, let's make sure that when someone searches employee benefits, Momentum Corporate pops up. When someone searches about something around the human experience, we've got a lot of gallery lines, as you know, that we're working on as part of our messaging and what we need to land with our new brand positioning. So please, can you take that on with the agency, please?
Great, I'll definitely do that. Yes, that's very important for us to start seeding that and to show up more comprehensively. So I've made a note and we'll include that. Great, thank you. I don't see any other hands, so I'm going to go to the Q&A and see if there are any questions in the Q&A. I'll start with Anonymous, and Anonymous is asking, would it then be beneficial to start following all key players in the relevant industries and commenting where possible to have a presence on LinkedIn? Yes, Anonymous, I'm going to click here on, yes. So if you're not sure, I would say don't even start with all key players. Start with Momentum Corporate. That's the easiest place because that's a hub for content. We've got such rich content. I mean, just the other day, Sipogazi from our Wellness Care Center did a really great interview on the midday report with Mandy Wiener. So that's content that you can share. Kawe now has some really great content on She Owns Her Success. She was recently featured by True Love, and that's woman. It's on our Women's Month theme. So if you're looking for content, start on the Momentum Corporate page and share that content, or even comment on some of the Momentum Corporate posts. I'm going to go to Blessing's question. Blessing, hi. So Blessing, you asked what's the easiest way of dealing with notifications? What is the etiquette around birthdays, work anniversaries, changes in jobs? If these are your own updates, you can find that in the settings. So like I mentioned earlier on, just spend some time on your settings to see which of those settings you can switch off. There is a specific setting. Because we have time, I can actually, oh, hi, Blessing, you are here.
Hi, I am here. Thanks for
Hi.
taking. So I think it was just more around the etiquette, you know. So I mean, you've got lots of followers. You get flooded by, you know, birthday requests, work anniversaries. What's the etiquette around that? I mean, is there practice that you have to say something, or how does it? What's your suggestion on that?
Okay, so my suggestion is on birthdays, really, you can just ignore those. I would actually even recommend for ourselves as employees and professionals, turn your own birthday notification off. It's not really, I mean, it's great. People can celebrate you, but for you to respond to other your LinkedIn network, I'd rather you respond to the career related notifications. So if somebody's landed a new job or they've started in a new role, you can congratulate them on that. You can also choose to turn off notifications. That is in your settings if you don't want to engage at all, because it can get quite overwhelming. But I'd say with career related notifications, give them a thumbs up or a congrats or I see you shine, but birthdays, no.
Thanks, Maslodi. Well done. Been a great session.
Thanks, Blessing. Thank you so much. Great to see you. We had another question from, let's see. Okay, this was Kawe again asking, please can we check that we do pop-up on companies and themes around employee benefits? Kawe, is this part of the question that you asked me?
Yes, it is. It's the same question.
Okay, it's the same one. Okay, great. And then I've got another anonymous asking, is it possible to get background images for LinkedIn to be sent to us when a campaign is running? Great question. I'm glad, Anonymous, you asked this question. Yes. So with She Owns Her Success, for example, we were probably late, which we should have preempted it and been a bit quicker around this, but I'll give you an example. With She Owns Her Success, we've sent out those LinkedIn banners. I know August is almost over, but we've got what, 10, 11 days until the end of August. But check your Momentum Corporate Employee Comms in your email. It's probably sitting in the other folder. You know, Outlook has the focused and other. Check your other folder for Momentum Corporate Internal Comms, and you'll find that we sent some banners for you. And periodically, especially now that we've got the new positioning coming up, we are going to definitely send out those banners as they become ready. So it's all a work in progress. We are in the throes of that work. So those banners will be ready in due time. And a comment by Naledi. Oh, Naledi says no question. Oh, it's not a question, it's a comment. But this was exceptional. Thank you. Ah, thank you. Ladies and gents, colleagues, no questions. No. I hope this is not no questions because you're going to flood my mailbox later on with questions, which you are welcome to do. So my email address is matlodi@momentum.co.za. You should probably find my number as well on Outlook if you are on a LinkedIn spree, and you're welcome to contact me with your questions after the session or as and when you update your profile. If we don't have any more questions, I think we can call it a day. I hope that everyone is a LinkedIn master. And if you're not, don't fret. The joy is in the journey. Thank you so much.